Alright, I'm back. Hey, I was gone for what, like 10 minutes there? Well, a little less. A little more. A minute or so. Get the BRB back down. And we'll resume Ace Attorney Investigations 2 with episode 3. So, what you just heard, what you're hearing now, random songs from Phantasy Star games. One was from Phantasy Star Online Episode 3, Tower of Calum. One was Raphon Metal from Phantasy Star Universe, and this is Fantasy from Phantasy Star Generation 2, which apparently, there was like no full version recording of this song. Like the rip of this music like cut off early. I actually edited it like a while back because someone brought to my attention that there was more to the song that wasn't in the official rip. So I was like, oh, well, it's raw data. I'm sure we could extend how far it plays it back, and we did. And we found it, and that was pretty cool. Anyway, we're gonna pick up right where we left off. Case 3. We just finished Case 2. Bronco Knight's death has been avenged, I guess, and surely he won't be playing any more plot points in this game beyond these 2 episodes. Surely. Let's get that faded out. That's why I use Winit, man. You could add those custom fade outs whenever you want. Turnabout Legacy. Edgeworth Origins, as I call this. This has voice acting at the beginning, so this is going to be interesting. It's probably going to be localized, I'm guessing. What shall we make today, kids?
Samson
and Judy's Bake and Bone.
Your 3 p.m. cake extravaganza. Macarons, waffles with cream, chiffon cakes that are light as a dream. Laugh and sing, smile, it's true. All that sweetness waiting for you. What, where, when? Over there. The oven's got something special to share. Now let's see what we've got for you. It's cooking time. Are you ready to make something special together? Gotta find a Winamp equivalent for Linux now that you have the storage space for music stuff. Yeah. Bzz. Well, talk about a blast from the past. Hey, Gregory. I'm going back there. Tomorrow. With your boy. Guzma? I'm finally going to find out what happened 18 years ago. What people do to these voices are like Eddie and Verity. Maybe. I don't know. It's interesting because it's like one of the few instances of voice acting in the series outside of the courtroom clips. And the fan translation did localize it, but it's one of those moments where it didn't run right on the emulator I used back in the day. Anyway, new day, new case, sort of. April 2nd, 10:05 a.m., Zodiac Hall, Fountain Room. Well, Fender, are you going to finally tell me what we're doing here? Why have you brought me to an art gallery of all places? Everything's running, right? I didn't mess anything up here. Yeah. Favorite case in this series, let's go. This case is really good. Yeah, you had nothing going on. Seemed like the perfect chance to come and enjoy the magic of star sign stuff together. I'm leaving. Chill, big guy, I'm just joking. You know about the IS-7 incident, yeah? Your old man's last case? Don't even remember that voice acting bit happened. It did, and it didn't run right. For me, so it was like all choppy. Of course, Von Kammer took great pleasure in showing me the files as soon as I became a prosecutor. And I reviewed them again last night after your invite. See? I was also present at the trial all those years ago, although my memories of it are somewhat hazy. Kinda can't get over the fact that, my father was shot right afterwards. Too biased, but man, this case and the one after it is so insanely good. Yes. All the cases in this game are great. I would say the last case was probably the worst one, and it's still great. Laying down while you watch, you might challenge Chad as much right now, but you're here. It's all good. As a child, I was completely in awe of my father. The sight of him in court was inspirational. Gregory Edgeworth, attorney at law, and opposite him, the man who would become my mentor, Manfred von Karma. It was quite the case. However, it ended with the conviction of the accused. Ah, so you were there too. You were in the courtroom for Gregory's final outing? Well, that'll make explaining things easier. Wanted you to know something, see? Don't think you had any issues with the emulator you used back then. Not sure which one core it used. I was on the multi-system OpenEMU. I was using Desmune back then, which I don't really use anymore. If I emulate DS games now, it's through Melon, because Melon is just so much more stable. Well, that'll make explaining things easier. Wanted you to know something, see? That something being what really went down. Not the truth in those files, but the capital T truth. It was 18 years ago, smack dab in the middle of a real doozy of a winter. The buildings were covered with a blanket of snow. Looked like the streets were lined with popsicles. But things weren't so innocent behind those frozen doors. In fact, some pretty sordid stuff went down. Pretty sure that Von Karma sprite was not the normal courtroom sprite for him. This was back before yours truly was the fine figure of an attorney you see before you today. 18 years ago. December 24th, 5 p.m., Detention Center, Visitor's Room. Hey, Mr. E, this one really came out of the blue, huh? It did. We were called in before the ink on the arrest papers were even dry. My name is Gregory Edgeworth. I'm a defense attorney. I'm here visiting a client with my assistant, Eddie Fender. There he is, the man, the legend. Gregor's Edge. A murder on Christmas Eve? What's the world coming to? In the dark of the night, at the end of the day, I saw two timely saviors a-comin' my way. Welcome, my friends, to the visitor's room. And if we're not friends yet, I'm sure we will be soon. Such an insane thing to do, making a case where you play as Gilgamesh. Proof of my profession. Polishing it every day has just become another part of my daily routine. I love how even Gregory is prone to that. Your badge is in the shape of a sunflower, right, Mr. E? Does that have some kind of special meaning, or...? It does. Sunflowers follow the sun, correct? In other words, they always face the light. Just as we attorneys do. We should always aim to be on the side of liberty and justice. Well, then I'm going to work hard and be just like a sunflower when I'm an attorney. I have no doubt you will. Is this your badge number here on the back? That's right. The number itself doesn't mean much, of course. Well, if it doesn't really matter, then I want mine to be a string of repeating digits. I'd actually pay to see that. Eddie Fender, age 18, a student working part-time at the offices of Edgeworth & Company, studying to be an attorney. Whoa, talk about an entrance! I like how even the guard is, like, waving him in. Yeah, Lawyers Association. Neither was I. Sorry if I surprised you, I'm just happy to see you both. Thanks so much for coming out. Seriously, I can't thank you enough. You're the accused, I take it. I am. Gregory Edgeworth, attorney at law, at your service. I look forward to representing you. Edgeworth & Company Law Offices, Senior Partner Gregory Edgeworth. Well, who's the other partner? If it's just Co. Is there just a guy named Co there? It's actually not short for company. It's Edgeworth & Co. And there's someone there named, like, Bill Co. or something. This is my assistant, Eddie Fender. Pleased to meet you, sir. I'll do, everything I can to help. I just realized he's got, like, a Sentai thing on the show thing there. Do you know the SCP story where the sun is SCP-1 and it fucks up everyone? What would sunflowers do in that situation? I mean, they wouldn't be affected. SCP-001, what it does is it melts living creatures. I guess, maybe not plants, though. I don't know. Trust me, I know all about SCP-001. Because they've implemented that into Voices of the Void. And I've watched a ton of that now, so... Come now, Edward. Calm him down, please. Wait, what? Come now, Edward. Calm down, please. You'll have to forgive him. He's still new to this. Yeah, look up Voices of the Void Bad Son. There's videos on it. I think it's what the event's called. He's been helping me out part-time, but he's far from a fully fledged lawyer material yet. Nonetheless, I'm hoping he'll be of some assistance in investigating the particulars of this case. Gregory and Eddie, it's an honor to meet you both. It's like I know exactly which voice actor that guy would have, the defendant here. My job as a defense attorney is to save my clients from wrongful convictions. So the first thing to do is establish whether or not he is truly innocent. Perhaps we could begin by having you tell us a little bit about yourself. What am I thinking? I haven't even told you my name. I'm Samson Tangaroa. I don't know how to fucking read that. I'm Samson Tangaroa. There we go. Tangaroa. I have no idea what that name means. Well, it really is you? Samson Tangaroa, world's greatest confectioner. You flatter me, my young friend. And call me Samson. All my pals do. Wow, thanks, Samson. I will. Can't believe I'm meeting you in person. Seems Eddie knows something of our client. Mr. E, it's the Samson Tangaroa. Singing, dancing, confectionery, making sensation. Literally looks like he came from JoJo. Yeah, kinda does. What shall we make today, kids? Macarons, waffles with cream. Chiffon cakes that are light as a dream. Laugh and sing. Smile, it's true. All that sweetness waiting for you. Look there. What? Where? Over there. The oven's got something special to share. Now let's see what we've got for you. Why that doesn't match the music? I almost started dancing along. No way. I got to sing with Samson Tangaroa. This is a dream come true. Thanks, little pal. It means a lot to hear you say that. My apologies, but I think we need to discuss the matter at hand. Of course, I'm sure you're both very busy. Alright, where would you like me to start? Thank you for agreeing to represent me. The scales on my badge mean something, Mr. Tangaroa. They represent justice and fairness. We'll see to it that you get a fair trial. And if you're innocent, you will walk free. I already lost the voice for him, damn it. But until then, I'm going to need you to sit tight and trust me. I will. I do. Thank you. Samson Tangaroa, my client, a man said to be the greatest confectioner of his generation, age 39. So you're not just a confectioner, you're also a singer and a dancer. I sure am. When I'm having fun, my body just starts moving. You must really enjoy making desserts. Wouldn't be much of a confectioner if I didn't. Live to make sweets that will bring joy to others. Gregory having fun there was... Yeah, it's fun seeing how he's, like, a lot less uptight than his son. Then again, the reason his son is uptight is because Von Karma, like, drilled into his head to be no nonsense. I froze. Shit. Alright, gotta reboot michaelmacaw.exe here. Hold on. Hey, they're not just things, they're works of art. Sparkling, dazzling, mouth-watering creations. The stuff dreams are made of. So So he aims to create joyous and inspirational pieces, does he? I understand the incident in question happened at your mansion. Why did I lose the voice again? I can't remember. Like, it just doesn't stay in my head. His dad's fucking dead, of course he's no fun. Wow. It did. We were holding an international confectionery contest there when a body was found inside one of my creations. And then that white and black bear went, "A body's been found! Discovered!" Inside one of your... No way! Death by chocolate! The detective in charge placed me under arrest because of it, and now, here I am. But I could never take a life. Never. I'm sure the police will see that too in time. They'll realize their mistake. I sure hope so. And what can you tell us about the victim? His name is Audie Frost. He was taking part in the contest. Mr. Frost was a wonderful confectioner. His creations were things of real beauty. I just don't understand. Why did he have to die? I'm sorry. He seems genuinely upset over the victim's death. I think I have a pretty good measure of the man now. Mr. Tangaroa, there's just one last thing I need to confirm with you. You didn't kill Mr. Frost, correct? Correct. I swear to you that I didn't do it. Like I told you, I can never take a life. Never. He seems quite sincere. Alright, I'm going to take you at your word. Thank you for being so forthright with me. Likewise, it's good to talk to somebody other than these detectives. We'll head to the scene of the crime and see what we can learn. We'll be in touch when we have something more to tell you. Goodbye, Gregory. Goodbye, Eddie. I'm counting on you both. December 24th, 6 p.m. Contest venue, Fountain Room. Ugh, it's pretty cold in here, huh, Mr. E? Never saw so much snow. Yes, and it doesn't look like we'll be letting up anytime soon. Just look at this place. What a sweet house Samson's got. It's huge. Yes, big enough to hold an international confectionery contest, no less. Welcome, welcome everyone. Come on in, we'll have us some fun. Oh no. Look at Edgeworth, look at Gregory there. Are you alright? I'm sorry. Would you happen to be Mr. Gregory Edgeworth by any chance? I would. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Eddie Fender, Mr. Edgeworth's assistant. Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Fender, welcome to our humble abode. Wait. Judy Bound, it's an honor to meet you both. I'm the housekeeper here, and Mr. Tangaroa's assistant. You're no housekeeper, you're Judy Bound! The Judy Bound! You know a little something of my work. A little? I watch you on TV every chance I get. I'm Bacon Bop's biggest fan. It's very kind of you to say so. We'd be nothing without our fans. And what might Bacon Bop be? Bacon Bop. It's only the biggest show on TV. Every kid on the planet loves it. The dynamic duo of Samson and Judy make delicious sweet stuff, all while singing and dancing. Like this. Check it out. What shall we make today, kids? Cookie dough, caramel too, fluffy chew cream, tiramisu. Everyone, come along. Bacon treats with a smile and a song. There, oh, where, who, there, it's true. The oven's got something special for you. Just take a bite and you will see. Doesn't match up at all. That was a wonderful performance, Mr. Fender. Bravo! I dance along every time I watch the show. Perhaps Miles might enjoy it too. I'll suggest it later. Bella's dancing really takes it out of a guy. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm the world's worst hostess. Here, nothing relaxes the body and mind quite like a cup of tea. Clink, clink, clatter, clatter. I hear that. Give me some green tea right now. Ah, this is Ceylon, correct? It's delicious. Its citrus aroma is said to improve one's ability to concentrate, as I recall. Interesting. This is what Ceylon tea tastes like, huh? Tea is nice, yep. How odd, the saucer's cold. Yes, it's so that the tea cools down more quickly, I'm afraid. Some of our guests don't like it too hot. I see. Teacups are very unique, too. Design is really something. You think so? Thank you so much. Ordered them all the way from France. They're my absolute favorite. They were designed by a marvelous sculptor named Paul Halik. Have you heard of him? Have I tried kombucha? Yep, I do not like it. Our office used to have kombucha when before we were work from home, and let me tell you, I've never been more turned off by free drinks before. It had such a weird taste. I did not like it. He makes the most amazing tableware in the world. You're clearly a big fan of his work. Oh, I am. These teacups are my greatest treasure. She's certainly not afraid to show when she's passionate about something. If you don't mind, Miss Bound, I'd like to move on to the reason why we're here. Can you tell us everything you know about the unfortunate incident that occurred earlier? Tried normal packaged kombucha then. No, we had a dispenser. Look, I'm probably not gonna like it, but I mean, if it's different, I might want to try it once. I don't know. Of course. I'm sorry for getting so distracted. Guess I'm still in shock. Because I'm the one who found the body, you see. You discovered the victim. Love kombucha, just can't get it often. Yeah, I'm not... I just don't think I'm a fan, honestly. Is it true that the body was recovered from inside one of Mr. Tangaroa's creations? It is. We're in the middle of the contest's final judgment phase when we heard the sound of something big collapsing from Samson's room. Samson, are you in here? Ah! I opened the door and went inside, and there was Mr. Frost's body. Thank you. I'm sorry to make you relive such a traumatic experience. Think nothing of it, please. I only wish I had more to tell you. When you're trying it for the first time, you should get it homemade. I guess. I don't know. I just wasn't the taste, like, the general taste of it just didn't appeal to me. Like from a farmer's market. I'll stick to green tea and other types of tea. I'm good. Now, if you don't mind, Miss Bound, I'd like to begin our investigation of the crime scene. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Fender, you have to save Samson. He's no murderer. He could never do something like that. Of course. Leave it to us, Miss Bound. Thank you so much. I'll go serve the others their tea then. Come, Eddie, to the scene of the crime. Yes, sir, Mr. E. December 24th, contest venue. Tangaroa's room. I see a familiar face there. No way, everything in this room is made of chocolate. Can't believe I'm getting to see so many of Samson's creations up this close and personal. Might be more excited myself if the room wasn't a murder scene. Just hearing you say that sends a shiver down my spine. That might just be the temperature in here. It is rather cold. Yeah, now that you mention it, it is pretty chill. Chill! Fence on the scene already. That was fast. More gravel needed here. Pleasure to meet you, Gregory Edgeworth. I'm representing Mr. Tangaroa. This is my assistant, Eddie Fender. Nice to meet ya! Bad. Detective Tyrell Bad. Detective in charge is named Bad. Man of few words. Something about this just doesn't taste right. You're eating your notepaper. He likes to chew his thoughts rather literally, I'm afraid. Helps him to digest and remember them. a little quirk of his. Please try to ignore it. Although I'd be the first to admit that's easier said than done. Introduction's out of the way. Yeah, it's a weird quirk that doesn't exist for him later. Detective Bad, would you mind if we joined you in investigating the scene? Sorry, not gonna happen. What? How come? Mr. Edgeworth is Mr. Tangaroa's attorney. Yeah, and attorneys will do anything to get him off the hook. Even put words in their clients' mouths. You think I need that on my crime scene? Mr. Edgeworth would never do something like that. I don't trust attorneys. Okay, kid. Actually, he would sound much younger. I just realized, because, like, this is way before the events of the last game where he showed up, even in the past. He has no bullet holes in his coat. Artie Frost, age 38. Murder victim, found dead inside Samson Tangaroa's chocolate work. Judy Bound, age 16. Assistant to Samson Tangaroa. She's fond of the work of sculptor Paul Halik. He's only 16? Really? How's she on TV? Tyrell Bad, age 42. Man of a detective assigned to the case. Man of few words. Detective, you established my client's supposed guilt based on an investigation of the crime scene, correct? That's usually how it works, yeah. What of it? They extended me the same courtesy. I believe he's innocent, and I would just like a chance to prove it. You believe he's innocent, and you didn't even see the scene yet. That's some flimsy lawyering. That's exactly why I wish to see the scene for myself. I need to ensure that my belief is based on solid evidence and sound reasoning. You about to tell me you're not leaving until I let you look over the scene? I am. Fine. Knock yourselves out. Thank you, Detective. But I'm coming around with you. Like I said, I don't trust attorneys. If you're good with that, go ahead and get to it. That was a lollipop this whole time? Must admit, I didn't see that coming either. Need to make sure my beliefs are based, yeah. When it's made like that, it's a healthy mix of sweet and bitter. The store-bought crap, it's bitter with a hint of sweetness. I don't remember it. I'll have to try it again, but I really don't like it. Just saw the Bad Son stuff. Holy shit, you gotta get into that game. Here's the thing, I don't know if it's still in the game, because that game has had a ton of updates. It actually just got a massive update the other day that, like, doubled the size of the game, apparently. That's why I'm waiting until that game is finished before I even think of playing it. Well, better get started then. Need you to take notes, Eddie. On it, Mr. E. Let's get this over with. Contest venue, Tangaroa's room. Look at that healthy run he's got going on. His leg movements are not as exaggerated as other characters. What is it? You're doing this all wrong. Investigation's like a popsicle. You walk around the scene, look at stuff, talk to witnesses. Everything you do, it's like a lick of that popsicle. Slowly you eat away at it. Till all that's left is a stick. Written on that stick is the truth. And I suppose I better hope it doesn't say guilty. Attorneys are bad luck. Nothing good ever happens when you guys are around. You trample the scene, jump to conclusions. Really think all that of all of us, me included? Not a yes, but not a no either. Real crime scene. This is so exciting. This isn't a game, Eddie. You should take it seriously. Don't worry, Mr. E, I'm taking notes on everything. You are? What kind of notes? Notes about how all this delicious stuff is made. Can't wait to try it for myself. Not playing around, Edward. Take this seriously. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth. Gloves. Tangaroa wore them while he was working on his masterpiece over there. Conveniently good at hiding fingerprints, too. Suppose it's possible to employ them in such a manner. But is it really all that suspicious to find a pair of gloves in a kitchen like this? I'm a detective. Everything's suspicious. That's the job. There's some very tasteful tableware here, along with some kitchen utensils. This tea set is of the same design as the one Miss Bound served with us earlier. Think Samson could have been drinking tea out of that? Pot and the cup were dusted for prints. His were the only ones found. That was the case for all the utensils, too. Everything else had been washed, so there weren't any prints to find. If Mr. Tangaroa was wearing gloves while he was working on his confectionaries, that could explain why prints were only found in the teapot and the cup. Paul held each piece with Tangaroa's fingerprints on it. Well-equipped kitchen, as one might expect. Sadly, it doesn't look like there's much to be found in the way of clues. Nothing of interest in the fridge either. We checked. Switch back to human here. This is a fine selection of nautical paraphernalia. I think one of them could be a murder weapon. No, they're all made of chocolate. I have a hard time bludgeoning somebody to death with one of them. Can't tell what's real in here. They really do look genuine. I can hardly tell the difference myself. True testament to Mr. Tangaroa's skills. How's it looking over here, officer? Anything of interest in that cupboard, or... Yes, sir! So, there is? Oh, no, there isn't. Just a blowtorch used for cooking and some tableware, sir. You're the man, Mr. Attorney. Nothing to add, am I right? Nope. So, do you have something to add? So you do have something to add. Oh, no. To get a straight answer out of anybody. Perhaps you should ask a straight question. No one here is straight. There's no straight explanation for any of this. What are you investigating, officer? Sir, I was just taking the temperature of the water here. What have you learned? Oh, it's warm, sir. The stream in each room flows from the main fountain into the main fountain, and the water circulated back into the rooms. Unusual to say the least. Never seen a house quite like this one. Rich folks, they're all crazy. The Red Rover and the Crimson Tide. Looks like this title is the inspiration for everything on display here in the room. The ship and the treasure chest, of course, but also all the other nautical objects on display. Certainly a suitably grand theme for which to showcase Mr. Tangaroa's talents. So this is where the body was discovered. Yeah. They took it away already, but everything else is just how we found it. Voyager of the Red Rover. After sailing upon the seven seas, the legendary ship happens upon a great treasure at last. This piece is a tribute to the adventurous spirit of our ancestors. It's really rather impressive, making an entire ship out of chocolate. That's Samson Tangaroa for you. Don't you just want to take a big bite of it? Which part to bite first, though? That's the real head-scratcher, you know? Bite any part of it, kid, and you'll be off this crime scene so fast your head will spin. Hey, it was just a joke. Stop staring at me like that. Do sometimes wish Eddie would keep his cool a little better. It's titled Voyage of the Red Rover. Who knew? So they sailed the six whole seas before they found anything? Not exactly the luckiest crew out there. Sometimes you gotta take a bunch of wrong turns before you find the truth. Yep, this whole thing's made chocolate. That's what being a real detective is all about. My voice actor's just falling apart right now. Did they even have detectives back in those days? One of the stands for the ship is broken. Ship must have collapsed into the treasure chest and smashed it open. Wait, do you think... Could that have been how the victim died? Was he crushed by the ship? If he was, then this becomes an accidental death, not a murder. You too serious? Don't worry, detective. For the moment, we're simply discussing a possibility. I was being serious, though. Shut up, Eddie. It appears the body was inside the treasure chest. Yeah, one by the name of Bound found it. She seems to have heard something breaking and then came in to see what it was. If only we had just a little more information. There's something else in here. Huh? Looks like a seal of some kind, with somebody's initials on it in an intricate shape carved into it. For making those fancy wax things on documents? Do you think it belonged to the victim? No idea, but it's gotta get logged anyway, so I'll take that. Seal found near the body when it was discovered. What could the design signify? Puh. Detective, can you tell us a little more about the state of the victim's body? Let me see. Got a picture here someplace. You can see it for yourselves. Death was from... blunt force trauma. And what about the weapon? Has it been found yet? You can ask the prosecutor in charge about that. Detective's not one for sharing much, I see. Would you mind if we borrow this? No skin off my nose. It's not like it's official. Bound took it with an instant camera when she found the body. An instant camera? Like it's disposable or something? No, it means it develops the pictures right there and then when you take them. Ugh. It means it develops the pictures right there and then when you take them. No way, sounds pretty convenient. Now then, I better get my facts straight and take down some notes of my own. Something in this picture that contradicts with the current crime scene. Need to call my powers of deduction to figure out why. Notes about the crime scene. The police have taken custody of the body. And you are? Sorry, meditating. Did you want something, Detective? Oh, I'm an attorney, not a detective. Gregory Edgeworth. Pleasure to meet you. And I'm his assistant, Eddie Fender. I see. Name's Carmelo Gusto. I'm a confectioner, here for the contest. You are? What's your specialty, Mr. Gusto? The art of air and sugar. No way! Look at that! It's a little baby seahorse. It's a dragon, a noble soaring creature of the skies. That's a dragon? Does look more aquatic than airborne. No need to sugarcoat it. My design sense is weak. Know that better than anyone. That's why I'm heading to Zheng Fa when this is all over. Need to train hard. Perhaps we should get off the subject of his design sense for now. So what are you doing here? Mr. Gusto? I didn't think they were allowing civilians on the scene yet. Detective wanted to know more about one of the pieces in here. Makes sense, seeing as he's a contestant. Perhaps I should ask him a few questions of my own. Those are some interesting implements you use there, Mr. Gusto. I don't know if it's Gusto or Gusto. I'm assuming it's Gusto, actually. Sugar-blowing pumps. They put air into sugar. They put ghost in the burger. They put the air into the sugar. So cool. It's like watching a sword master do his thing. No, master. Not a day goes by that I don't hurt myself, one way or another. That's why I wear red. That way, doesn't matter when I make a mess. The way of the confectioner is a lonely one. You never stop learning. Not until you die. The way of the confectioner sounds like a long run too if he's still injuring himself on a daily basis. Interesting design. Yes, I could do something with this. Can I borrow it? Oh, I'm afraid not. It's rather important. Can't bear the thought of it coming to any harm in Mr. Gusto's hands. Sorry, meditating. Did you want something, Detective? As I told you, I'm an attorney. And I was hoping you'd take a look at this. Is he meditating again? Perhaps I better present him with something more meaningful. Carmelo Gusto, I don't know. Candy crafting confectioner who's taking part in the contest. Age 36. He is younger than me. That is something. What can you tell us about the contest? Based on what we've seen so far, flavor doesn't seem to be the only criteria at play here. The contest was Tangaroa's idea. It's about art. Confectionery as art. Confectionery is art. Art you can eat, every part of it. Every single item in this room is edible. The whole place does smell kind of like chocolate. Tangaroa is a genius. Once-in-a-generation talent. Flavor and flair. He has it all. If you cannot do the god of confections himself, you can't win. I don't know, man. Beating out the greatest in the world seems kind of hard, yeah? As it should be. Whoever beats him becomes the greatest in turn. Yeah, no, the age gap between the TV stars is huge. I didn't realize Judy Baum was only 16. That's ridiculous. Why is she that young? That's the real prize here. Nothing else matters. So you're competing for a title, effectively. And a treasure. The ultimate cookbook. Tangaroa's most prized possession. If you want to know more, it's all written down here. It's the list of rules that was given out to the contestants. A piece of paper listing the rules for the contest. Ultimate Cookbook, the title of World's Greatest Confectioner. Judging will proceed clockwise from the leftmost room. All contestants to gather in Mr. Tangaroa's room when judging ends. Non-confectionery items may not be used as decoration. Stands and display materials will be provided. Contestants may not enter another contestant's room until judging has been completed. Winner of the contest gets to call themselves the world's greatest confectioner, and that's my goal. After that, I'm going to Zheng Fa to hone my crafting skills. Once my creations look as good as they taste, I'll be truly unstoppable. Shouldn't he have perfected that before entering the contest? Sorry, I don't know much about what happened. I only heard about it after the judging was over. How was the judging organized? It started at 3 p.m. Tangaroa began making the rounds right around then. He left his own room, then worked his way around the venue clockwise. Scone's room, Frost's room, Gusto's room. My creations were the first to be judged. After that, he went to Scone's room. She's another one of the contestants. What can you tell us about her? Ruthless, brutal. There's nothing she wouldn't do to win. She was working with Cream, some kind of dreamscape. Then, last of all, Frost's room. His thing was flavored ice, sculptures this time, or so I heard. Bound found the body, while Tangaroa was still making the rounds. She panicked, ran to call the cops. Tangaroa went right on judging, claims he didn't know a thing about it, not until afterward. Went ahead and looked over the victim's work, even though the guy was nowhere to be seen. Pretty suspicious behavior in anyone's book. I don't have enough information to challenge him on that yet. By the way, Detective Bad, what were you and Mr. Gusto talking about earlier? I was going to ask about the piece on the wall there, the one in the frame. It seemed like something was off. Thought I'd better ask someone who knows about this kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, something's off. I wonder, maybe it's a giant, like, messy, greasy handprint on there? Then you, bozo, showed up and pulled me away from my very important work. Perhaps we could take a closer look at it together. Can't take a hint, can you? Mr. Gusto, would you mind helping us out? Of course, confectionery is my life. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Oh, also the bottom is missing. It's a journal belonging to the captain of the chocolate ship, also made of chocolate. A diary of despair. That's some title. Come, hearken, see how we crossed the sea and rode the red tide of misery. Quite a jaunty rhyme for such a tragic-sounding tale. A candelabra made of chocolate. There's a title here, The Light of Life. Well, this particular light seems to be missing one of its life-giving flames. Does it have some sort of symbolic meaning? Or could it be... Looks like a fire alarm. Yeah, and before you start prodding it, it's not made of chocolate. Push it and bells will start ringing. People will come running from the security room. Whole bunch of hassle, so don't. I know you want to, but don't. Honestly, the thought hadn't even crossed my mind. Typical attorney. What does being an attorney have to do with anything? You can make pictures this pretty out of chocolate. Samson really is a god among men. Is it really made of chocolate, though? Looks far too much like a regular illustration to me. You have a good eye. I'm impressed. That's no piece of candy. That's the ultimate cookbook. The ultimate cookbook. In other words, the grand prize. What? So it's not made of chocolate after all? No, the book is simply enframed in some. Tangaroa showed it to all of us when he gathered us here to explain the rules. So the participants knew the grand prize was in this room the whole time. Anyway, you see it too, right? The frame? Something's missing. The oddity Detective Bad was going to ask Mr. Gusto about earlier. Yes. You're right, Detective. Something is missing from this frame. So it's not just me. Huh? What's missing? Better show Eddie which part of the frame is missing some chocolate.
Take that!
That's an interesting voice clip. Look at the detective work in the corner here. Something's missing, no? Oh yeah, it's different from the other side. That's not like Tangaroa. The balance is all wrong. That's not all. Take a look around. Every confection in this room is missing some small bit. You're right. The candle holder, the nautical stuff, they're all like that. Did somebody deliberately damage them? It's a very good question. Or did Tangaroa just want to look like somebody messed with his work? He'd never do that to his own creations, never! Does this have some deeper meaning for the case? I'll scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. The picture is not made of chocolate, it's the cover of a book, the ultimate cookbook. The ultimate cookbook, in other words, the grand prize. Yes, and framed in chocolate. Tangaroa showed it to all of us when he gathered us here to explain the rules. Are these finger marks? Yeah, but we don't know whose yet. Still haven't figured it out. No fingerprints, no ID. Finger marks without prints. They could certainly be important to the case. Someone left finger marks on the chocolate frame, but they didn't leave any prints. It's a real head-scratcher, all right. Not really. Guessing whoever it was wearing gloves. Aw, where's your sense of romance, of adventure? Doesn't tend to be much of either at a crime scene, Eddie. Achoo! You alright, Eddie? Yeah, but it sure is chilly in here. Yes, it wasn't exactly warm out in the fountain room, either. But it's even colder in here. Would you like to borrow my jacket? No, I'm fine. And besides, you said you'd give it to me when I finally got my attorney's badge. I did, didn't I? Why have the heat down so low? Chocolate needs to be kept at the right temperature. Take a look behind that panel on the wall. What panel? Look at that, it was here this whole time. One in each of the contest rooms. Tangaroa hid them so they wouldn't spoil the aesthetic of our works. And what do the controls do? They adjust the temperature and the lighting. Goes all the way down to negative 22 degrees Fahrenheit. Cold enough to keep any confectionery from melting. So in effect, each room is a giant freezer. It's 59 degrees in here. No wonder I'm cold. 59 degrees is not friggin' cold. Are you kidding me? We all live near the fucking equator? Hey, Detective Bad, you, mind if we turn it up a little? Preservation of the crime scene is the foundation of detective work. But I'm not a detective. Same goes for attorneys, Eddie. Must never disturb the scene of a crime. Huh. Get used to the cold. It's all part of your training. Chocolate needs to be kept between 59 and 65 degrees. There's no way around it. You know the temperature by heart, huh? Guess it's your job. At the very least, I should know. Any real confectioner should be able to tell you that and more. Alright, what about lollipops and cream? If it's not too hot or humid, a lollipop should be fine just about anywhere. Cream needs to be kept at around 50 degrees. You watch out for heat and humidity, huh? Duly noted. I think the bag kind of brightened up when he was talking about lollipops, didn't he? Suppose he must be very fond of them. Don't believe there are any more clues to be found here. These controls can be used to adjust the room's temperature and lighting. Red, yellow, green, dark blue, light blue, white. That's a huge range. Temperature set to 59 degrees. Light color set to white. Pieces in here are made of chocolate. That's why. White light makes them look better. Mr. Tangaroa must see the room itself as part of his carefully crafted creations. Fine, I was told 33 to 40 is the safe food temp range. We're talking specifically about cream. I guess. I don't know. And chocolate, obviously, won't melt at will melt at room temperature, so we don't want that. Delicious Scone. A confectioner who will do whatever it takes to achieve her goals. Age unknown. Nothing's been moved since the body was found, correct? Preserve the scene. It's the one rule of any investigation. They took the body away, but everything else, untouched. Could you tell us a little more about the state of the body before it was taken away? Found. Took a picture. You have to make a do with that, Mr. Lawyer. I get the feeling that the good old detective is none too fond of defense attorneys. Probably best not to rely on him too much and search the scene for clues and contradictions myself. Seems the culprit made sure to wear gloves. Couldn't lift squat from those finger marks. But perhaps you can extrapolate something about their owner from the size of their fingers, for example? It's not as easy as it sounds. Sorry, but these finger marks are pretty worthless as evidence goes. Even with cream, I'd still be careful. That stuff would still melt, but slowly. I mean, it depends on what kind of cream. Is it like dairy cream? Because that needs to be kept at fridge temperature. No need to be hasty, detective. After all, even in the absence of fingerprints, tells us something of interest, don't you think? You lawyers have an answer for everything, don't you? I'll take that as a compliment. What a weird seal. Usually like a stamp, it'd come out as PH, right? But if it's just for show, like a ring, it appears to say H9, I believe. H9. Hit 9, maybe? Somebody's hitting streak? Nah, seems unlikely. Sounds like Detective Bat might be a fan of baseball. I'd like your opinion on this, if you don't mind. I do. There's one thing I hate, it's small talk. Seems he only cares about things that are directly related to the incident. This case, it's, well, can't get my head around a few parts of it. If you wouldn't mind, I'd like some more information about the scene of the crime. Sure, you got legs, don't you? Try using them. That's how the pros do it. Our duties may differ, Detective, but what we both want is to get to the bottom of what happened, don't we? Wouldn't it be better if we worked together? The detective clearly sees himself as a strong, silent type. I suppose that's also how the pros do it. Something breaking, broken stand. Stand broke and the ship collapsed with it. The loud sound it made brought Miss Bound running. Yeah, said the ship had already keeled over by the time she got in here. But why did the stand collapse? What caused it to break? Maybe the whole thing was off balance from the get-go. Could that really have been the case? All of Mr. Tangaroa's creations are missing a little piece each, including one of the stands that was holding up the ship. Somebody really went all out. Do you think it could have been the killer? It's certainly a possibility. Either way, I think we can safely say the stand was damaged in our mystery person's tampering spree. And when it broke, the ship fell and smashed open the treasure chest, which would have remained closed otherwise. What am I supposed to find here? Nothing of interest here. Oh, we had to do something. Okay. Stands and display materials will be provided.
Eureka!
So the relationship between the evidence and what we see before us. A contradiction, considering the ship before us, and how you're lucky it's made of chocolate. Otherwise, you'd be right on it right now, floating down that little stream over there. Not exactly the most pleasant way to be ejected from a crime scene. Okay, calm down and think this over one more time. Certain there's something amiss that ought to be here. Oh. Something that ought to be here. Actually don't know. That doesn't look right either. Part of the sign's messed up.
Eureka!
Uh-oh. Maybe that bit right... It might be that bit right there.
Eureka!
Nope. That appears to be blood loss following blunt force trauma. Where's the cloth that was covering him?
Eureka!
Nope, that's not it either. Eureka. Oh, the piece of chocolate with the blood on it is missing.
Eureka!
You said the only thing that's been removed from the scene is the body. Yeah, that and the piece of cloth that was wrapped in. And something here doesn't quite add up. Urethra, god damn it. It doesn't. Take another look at the scene in front of us, Detective. A very conspicuous pool of blood that should be here is clearly missing. You're right. Don't remember anybody mentioning they'd removed the blood along with the body. Let me check with forensics here. What is it, Mr. E? What'd you figure out? Compare the treasure chest and the photographs to the real thing. In the picture, the solid chocolate bottom continues underneath the deceased's head. Solid chocolate bottom. That's what I am. I'm a white chocolate bottom. Solid white chocolate bottom. I'm joking. I'm not a bottom. Could you imagine? Someone wants some fancy chocolate dipped in red stuff. Oh god. And yet that part of the chest is gone now. The part with the blood all over it. Exactly. So did the police remove it, or perhaps the killer? The killer? He's involved in this too? Wasn't for forensics. Saying nobody took away anything like that. Interesting. So somebody deliberately removed the blood from the scene. Could be. Note about the crime scene. Police have taken custody of the body. I think we're about done here for now. Crime scene. Why are we getting multiple updates for that? Well, if I wasn't convinced before, I am now. Tangaroa did it. No two ways about it. Part of the treasure chest that was covered in blood is missing. Every other item in the room is also missing a piece of itself. Cause of death appears to be blood loss following blunt force trauma. What do you mean? All the rooms in this place, locked from the inside. The only way to unlock them from the outside is with this key. I see. And who had access to that key? Who do you think? Tangaroa. It's the only one. There aren't any other copies. The one and only key that unlocks every door in the mansion. Tangaroa was in possession of it the entire time. The mansion key. Tangaroa could slip into anybody else's room anytime he liked. And he could even lock his own room from the outside if he wanted. But Mr. Tangaroa's room wasn't locked, was it? Nope, which is exactly what makes him a suspect. Would you care to explain your thinking? Why I think Tangaroa did it. The door had been locked when the body was found. Tangaroa would have been the obvious suspect. Which is why he deliberately didn't lock his room. And why he smashed the lid of the treasure chest, so the body was on full display. Everyone was supposed to gather in his room when the judging finished up. So he made it look like the murder happened while he wasn't there. One thing he didn't plan on was Bound finding the body. Anyways, that's my thinking on this whole thing. Good enough for you, Mr. Attorney? Do you also believe it was Mr. Tangaroa who damaged the other pieces in this room? Yep. No, you have to believe your client. That's your job. But I'm a detective, and I serve the law. And no matter how squeaky clean somebody might seem, a suspect is still a suspect. Fully understand your reasoning, Detective. Now, would you mind if I applied a little critical thinking of my own? Do your worst. Just as the detective won't compromise his devotion to the law, I won't compromise my beliefs either. I'm not about to just accept his version of events. In fact, I'm going to show him the piece of evidence that highlights the contradiction in his claims.
Hold it!
Hold it! It's hardly solid grounds on which to base your suspicion of Mr. Tangaroa, Detective. And that's hardly solid grounds to start shouting objections left and right on, Mr. Attorney. Maybe quit interrupting and let me finish.
Hold it!
Why would he deliberately not lock his door? Because if he'd locked it, he might as well have been held up a sign saying he did it, since he had the only key. But maybe it was just a coincidence. Maybe he just left it unlocked without meaning to. He just happened to leave it unlocked and somebody just happened to find a body inside. Come on, kid. You'll never make detective thinking like that. But I don't want to be a detective. I want to be an attorney. I'd be grateful if you stopped trying to steal my apprentice. Look, there's a reason why Tangaroa left his door unlocked.
Hold it!
You're saying Mr. Tangaroa himself deliberately smashed the treasure chest open? Yep. If he hadn't, the body would have never been found. I struggle to see how he managed to destroy his creation while judging the contest at the same time. Exactly. And besides, there's no way he would have disrespected his sweets. He eats every last crumb on Bacon Bop while dancing. That's the only way his stuff gets destroyed. This isn't about what happens on TV, kid. You know about Bacon Bop, Detective? Am I the only one who isn't familiar with the show? Wow, I would have never guessed. Can you sing the theme song, too? Hold it. Never mind that now. Focus. Oh, he totally can. Point is this. Tangaroa was responsible for breaking that lid.
Hold it!
The judging began in Mr. Gusto's room, correct? Yeah. Kinda wanted to check his hard candy stuff out myself. In that case, how about a little demonstration? Pro tip, do that to me, please. Well, it's you, Detective. How's that him? Just shove those sugar things into my mouth and just, you know, go to town. Are you calling him a dirty dog? Ugh, it's a wolf! A lone wolf. I like it. Starting to enjoy these little displays. Anyhow.
Hold it!
You have a clear idea of when exactly the murder took place? Not yet. Autopsy report's still pending. And yet you still went ahead and arrested Mr. Tangaroa. May not know when the murder happened, but we know when the body was discovered. It was while Tangaroa was judging Gusto's room. Perfect alibi if you could just set it up right. It's still not grounds for an arrest. Surely you have to agree with that. Do I? Especially when I've got nothing more to say to you. Why do I get the feeling he's hiding something? Detective Bad seems pretty convinced that Mr. Tangaroa is the culprit. There's no way he would have vandalized his own creations. No way! Still, the treasure chest did get smashed in. There's no denying that. Perhaps we should focus more on what led to the body's discovery. Doing so should make it easier to spot a flaw in Detective Bad's theory. Lid was closed until the ship collapsed.
Objection!
That is not the voice I would imagine for him. We've established that the body was hidden inside the chest, and that Miss Bound was the only one who came running into this room when she heard a sound. It seems reasonable to infer that the sound was of the chocolate boat collapsing. Sure, seems likely, based on the evidence. And yet you assert that it was Mr. Tangaroa who had smashed the lid of this chest. I believe this photo makes it clear that it was the ship that did the smashing. And if that had occurred only moments before Miss Bound had entered the room, then it couldn't have been broken by Mr. Tangaroa, who was out judging the contest at that time. I never said he did it then and there. He could have done something to the stand, so it collapsed like when he was in the middle of judging.
Objection!
Have you any way of proving that assertion? The investigation isn't over yet. There's still time. She doesn't have anything conclusive. Have you found any prints in this room beside those of Mr. Tangaroa? Yep, on the door. But we found Tangaroa and Frost's prints on there too. We were all brought in here for a briefing, right before we started work on our creations. Those prints are probably from then. Take it you haven't checked any of Mr. Tangaroa's works for prints yet. Why would I? We know somebody tampered with them, therefore it's possible they left some prints behind when they did so. Fine. If we don't find anything, your guy's still on top of my list. Got it? You, check all the chocolate stuff for prints, now! Yes, sir, right away! Detective Bad, you finished dusting for the chocolate and found prints that don't belong to Mr. Tangaroa, sir. Go on. Whose? Delicious Scone, sir. She's one of the contestants. Good work. You could go back to whatever you were investigating before. Yes, sir. So it seems we have a suspect besides Mr. Tangaroa. You without your lawyerly input. I was about to wrap up the investigation anyway. I'll go speak with Miss Scone, see what she has to say for herself. Delicious Scone. Mr. Gusto mentioned her, too. Said that she was ruthless, that she'd do anything to win. Scone Lady sounds pretty suspicious character, huh, Mr. E? Yeah, I think we better try to speak with her ourselves as well. Detective Bad, would you mind if we accompanied you? Babysitting you is not my job. Aw, come on! But, I guess you did pick up a couple useful clues already. So if you want to tag along, be my guest. Thank you, Detective. You're too kind. But Detective Bad, sir. I don't think that's such a good idea. The lead prosecutor is still busy in there. It'll be fine. Me and him don't exactly see eye to eye anyhow. Who's this him? Wait, what? Who's this him? Who did they send to the case? Manfred von Karma. What? They gave it to von Karma? He hasn't lost a case in 25 years. Manfred von Karma. Living legend over at the prosecutor's office. Never faced one another in the courtroom, but I've heard plenty of stories. They say he'll do anything to ensure a guilty verdict. But I can't let that distract me. For now, I need only continue to do what I believe is right. To be continued, and that is the perfect place for me to stop. This is about 4. I thought we were going to have to do Delicia, this part as well. Hey, that works out perfectly. The first part of the case is always the shortest. It always seems to only be like an hour, whereas like every other part's like 2 to 3. So that's fine. That actually works perfectly for me. We'll double save just for safety here. Perfect. Absolutely, this worked out entirely perfectly. I do wish I was here earlier so I could have done another segment, but for what it is, it worked out like exactly as I wanted it to. To be contorted. Hey, so, good stream. LOL mood, yeah. Good stream, guys. Thank you so much for everyone that came by. Thank you for the raids. Thank you, Derek, for the raid earlier. The follow, all that stuff. Am I following Derek? I should be. Pretty sure I'm following him already on Twitch. Yeah. Cool. Real cool. Thanks for the subs, the follows, everything tonight. This was a fun night. And yeah, we had we did what we wanted to do tonight. We're only 1 segment behind in terms of progress here. I guess 2 segments now. So anyway, tomorrow night I'll be here with more of this. At least 2 more segments, if not more, if I can get here early. And then we'll do more over the weekend. Again, we're going to be laser focusing on this so I could finish it hopefully by the latest next Sunday. Not this one coming up, but the Sunday after. And then I'll be at MagFest, and we'll see what else happens after that. So, again, thank you everyone who came by and followed, everyone who started subs and hype trains and bits and all fun stuff. Thank you so much. I am going to close this out. Thanks, Razu. I'm going to close this out by rating... Who is streaming right now? Who haven't I not raided in a while? No one, really. Like, everyone here I've kind of raided before, like, recently. You know what? Salty Rat's playing web fishing, and they've been... Remember, they weren't around for a while, so... Give them a raid. They've been streaming for 4 hours. That does look like they're still going, so... That's a good time to raid. Check them out. So check them out. Say hi to them. Check out web fishing. Have a great night, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Good night. Oops. Okay, now good night.